Hey there guys, we're going to take a look at how to balance chemical equations, and we need to keep in mind the law of conservation of matter, which states that matter cannot be created nor destroyed, but it can change form. Sometimes you'll be presented with a chemical equation, and you can see that in this case two reactants make a product. But if you look carefully, you'll see that somehow we magically generated more iron and more oxygen than we started with. Well, that completely breaks the rule. So there's a very simple way of going through and balancing these equations, and I'm going to show you how to do that right now. First thing that I like to do is it's a little bit of some accounting where you list the elements that you've got, which in this case we've got iron and we have oxygen. And then I like to break it down on the reactant side. Remember, these are your reactants. And in this case, this is my product. And the arrow means yields. These two reactants makes this product. Then I go through and I do a little simple accounting. How many of each of these elements do I have on each side? On the reactant side, I can see that I have 1 iron and I have 2 oxygens because this subscript means I have 2. On the product side, I have 2 irons and 3 oxygens. Well, clearly neither of these match. And so the next step would be to go through with some basic multiplication and see if we can make them all balance out. First thing I would do is I would put a 2 right here. Remember, this is called a coefficient. Now this multiplies all the way through. This changes us to having 4 irons here and 6 oxygens in the product side. So now what can I do on this side to make this balance out? Well, I can simply put a 4 for a coefficient in front of the iron, and now I have 4 there. And then, if I look here, I see my 2 and 6 don't match for my oxygen. I can simply place a 3 right there, and now I have 6 oxygens. And voila, it's balanced. So step 1, list your elements. Step 2, account for the number of atoms. And step 3, use coefficients to balance out the equation. So I'm going to go through and do these next 4 examples. I would encourage you to take a look at each one, pause the video, and do it yourself. Now this one is balanced. Example 3. So here I see my chlorines and my bromines are not balanced. So if I put a 2 right here, this makes this 2 and this 2. And so now I have these guys out of balance. And so if I just put a 2 coefficient there, these become 2s, and this is now balanced. Next example. Hopefully that's what you came up with as well. And then finally the last example. Even though these numbers are large, don't be intimidated. This is actually quite a simple balancing act. You can enjoy that joke. Put a 12 here. This makes this 12. And then all we need to do is simply put an 11 here. That makes this 22 and this 11. So hopefully you got yours right. And then you can use this example in order to do your homework.